With less than 2 weeks to go until the kick-off of the Six Nations, the squads are announced, speculation as to starting 15s is rising, and the fantasy game is now live. Getting off to a fantasy flyer is absolutely key. It's a short tournament, so a strong selection from the off is needed. But where are you best placed to invest your 230 star budget in the official game? In lead up to the start of the tournament, I'll be going over some of the selection options that you can have. And first up, in no particular order, here are 5 premium priced names that are well worth looking at as strong fantasy assets that will get you off to a flying start in your fantasy point scoring. We start with one man who has been the picture of consistency at international level for the last 2 years, Thomas Ramos, who's available for 19 stars. With the return to fitness of Romain Ntamack, Ramos will likely be starting for France at fullback for the Six Nations. And from number 15, he's a genuine triple threat for tries, attacking meters and goals kicked. An absolute world-class goal kicker, Ramos topped the points scored at the 2023 and 2024 Six Nations, and he scored the highest number of conversions at the 2023 Rugby World Cup. The 2024 Six Nations fantasy game showed us that kickers were the key to fantasy success. In 2024, 4 of the top 10 average high scorers in the whole entire fantasy game were kickers. In fact, in the back three, Thomas Ramos had the highest average score of any of the back 3 players, more than Damian Penaud, more than James Lowe, and even more than the top try scorer in the tournament, Duhan Van Der Merwe. And this was all without Ramos even scoring a single try himself. This is not to downplay his attacking abilities. He's also a threat with ball in hand, carrying for 274 metres, beating 17 defenders, making 23 tackles and 4 offloads in last year's Six Nations. Ramos's outstanding form also continued in the Autumn Nations series. And in the tournament, Ramos scored 52 fantasy points against Japan in round 1, 60 points in a player of the match performance against New Zealand in round 2, and 34 points in round 3 against Argentina. And again, he delivered both in attack and defence, but impressively, he also recorded 3 try assists and 2 50-22s in the autumn. So Ramos has got the ability to score points through multiple actions. So for me, for when he plays, he has to be selected. And in general, if you find a kicker outside of the traditional fly half position in the fantasy game, like Ramos, then get him in. It's an absolute no-brainer. Next up is a teammate of Thomas Ramos, and a firm favourite of the fantasy game. It's the prolific French try scorer, Damian Penaud, who's available for 19 stars. Penaud is coming into the 2025 Six Nations in the hottest of form. And in fact, at the time of doing this video, in his last 2 games for Bordeaux in the Champions Cup, Penaud has scored a total of 9 tries. Yes, that's 9 tries in 2 games. He's carried for 351 metres. He's made 4 try assists, 12 line breaks. He's beaten 12 defenders and made 4 offloads. Just insane numbers. While he had a subdued 2024 Six Nations by his own high standards with just 1 try to his name, he still finished the tournament with the highest number of defenders beaten of any player in the championship, with 27 defenders beaten. He made 3 try assists. He carried for a huge 420 metres. He also missed the whole of the Autumn Nations series with illness, so he's going to be desperate to get back to the pace of international rugby. In his current form, it would take a very, very brave person not to slot Penaud straight into their back 3. In at number 3, although this isn't a countdown, this is in no particular order. Is this 3, 4? I don't even know what day it is right now. Anyway, next up is another back 3 player who's delivered again and again in the Six Nations and should do more of the same in 2025. It's Duhan Van Der Merwe, available for 19 stars. Van Der Merwe had another massive Six Nations campaign in 2024, finishing the championship as top try scorer alongside Dan Sheehan with 5 tries. His fantasy points haul in 2024 were not just as a result of all of his tries. He also generated points from a huge volume of work he achieved around the field, including 355 metres carried, 6 line breaks, 15 defenders beaten, 3 offloads and 17 tackles. He's also been performing solidly for Edinburgh in the URC this season with 4 tries and is currently 4th in the URC for line breaks with 12, Fourth in URC for defenders beaten with 30, and fourth for meters carried with 464 meters. But with Van Der Merwe, he always raises his game for Six Nations, especially against England, with 6 tries against England. Not that I'm bitter in the slightest. Van Der Merwe kicks off his Six Nations campaign against Italy, and he's always a safe choice. But having said that, I may still be tempted with Louis Bielbieri for round 1 against Wales. Tough decisions to be made. Moving into the forwards, and one name that cannot be ignored is the top scorer from the 2024 Men's Six Nations fantasy game, Earl, who's available for 20 stars, one of the most expensive players in the game. In every round in 2024, Earl delivered a huge volume of points, peaking in round 4 when he delivered a massive 72 fantasy points in England's defeat of Ireland. Earl made the most carries, 73, of any player in the Six Nations in 2024. He also beat the most defenders of any forward, which was 24. And over the course of the entire Six Nations, Earl carried for 419 metres, easily the most of any forward in the game. He scored 2 tries and he made 63 tackles. Earl was also the highest fantasy scoring forward in the 2024 Autumn Nations Series fantasy game, where he also carried for 276 metres and beat 9 defenders. And there was just no other forward who came anywhere near him with this volume of carrying. In the autumn, he also got a try assist, 2 offloads, 2 breakdown steals, and 59 tackles. A point to note on Earl, with his club teammate Tom Willis called up to England, Earl may now move from a number 8 role, the role that he's been playing over the last year, to an open side flanker role, matching how they operate at club level. This might impact his style of play, but nonetheless, with the point scoring updated to now be 15 points for a try for a forward, Earl should always go well, and he should also usually be quite a safe captain pick as well. Finally, also likely to line up for England is the highest scoring fantasy player from the Autumn Nations Series fantasy game, Marcus Smith, who's available for 17 stars. Smith delivered the fantasy points in all 4 games that he played in the autumn. He scored 48 points against New Zealand, 50 points in round 1 against Australia, 34 points in round 2 against South Africa, and 43 points in round 3 against Japan. Despite England losing 3 of their 4 games in the autumn, Smith was one of the most fixture-proof options in the fantasy game. Now, his kicking obviously brought in plenty of points with 13 conversions and 9 penalties, but it's his all-round game, including his ability to beat players and create try-scoring opportunities, that really set his fantasy scoring apart. Smith only played a bit part for England in the 2024 Six Nations, with just 2 appearances, both coming off the bench. But his showings in the autumn would have solidified his position, and with the flexibility to play at both fly half and fullback, he's definitely going to be a massive fantasy asset. So that's it for the big budget premium players. Stay tuned on the FRG YouTube channel, subscribe, because in the coming days I'll be sharing a deep dive into some of the big value players available in the game. Also, a reminder that throughout the Six Nations I'll be sharing insights and strategies to help you climb the leaderboard and fly up your mini leagues. You'll be able to find me at fantasyrugbygeek.com, where I'll be posting my usual weekly tips, players to watch, game reviews, and I've just shared also a list of all the big mini leagues and prize leagues that are available in the game. And I'll be continuing to update this list throughout the course and the build-up of the tournament with any new prize leagues appear, so that if you want to back your skills and your fantasy knowledge to win prizes, this is the place to go. I'll also be sharing up-to-the-minute fantasy news on X, Threads, Blue Sky, Insta, TikTok, everywhere. And if you want an extra edge, I have my members-only site, FRG Premium, on buymeacoffee.com. For £10 a month subscription, you'll be able to see my personal team reveals, not just for the Six Nations, but also for the Prem, URC, and the Women's Six Nations that's going to follow afterwards. You'll be able to share your team with me for direct feedback on any changes that I'd recommend. And you'll gain exclusive access as well to a members-only prize league with lots and lots of great prizes for those finishing from 1 to 10 in the league. For the winner, that will include a £50 voucher to spend on prints from the sports commentators, a rugby mystery box from Blindside Box, 3 months access to the Rugby Papers digital subscription, free access for 6 months to FRG Premium, and a fancy Rugby Geek trucker hat. So please sign up. There's a link in my video description. A very quick word on one of the fancy Rugby Geek partners, Blindside Box. So Blindside Box provide rugby mystery boxes. If you don't know what a rugby mystery box is, basically it's a box that gets posted to you and it contains a surprise bit of kit from a professional team. And you don't know which one you're going to get until you open the box. So if you're a rugby fan who loves collecting kits, then this is perfect for you. The best part of it is you can avoid getting jerseys from teams that you don't want, or if you've got a lot of already, just let them know your preferences when you make the order. It's a great way to add some excitement and variety to your kit collection. And today you can get 10% off your order by entering the code FANCYRugbyGeek at checkout. So head on over to Blindsidebox, blindsidebox.com, and grab your mystery box now. So that's it. Get signed up to the fancy game if you haven't already. Subscribe to my channel and get picking.